what are we truly doing by helping some people out to the extent where they don't ever try? We are just as bad, and we are crippling them.
What burns inside me that no one can take away, no one can dim. What if I'm wrong? What if you're not?
What if you're not? Yeah.
What if I fail, but what if you don't?
Mm-hmm.
That's the potential that was seen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ugly stuff. There's sin.
Mm-hmm.
There's darkness. But where there is darkness, there's also good. There are also people that refuse to bend.
Yeah.
There are people who see the injustice
mm-hmm.
and will say, here is everything. Burn me for the sake of everyone else moving forward. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane.
And I'm Mark.
And you are here where we look at 4 different cultures and folklore, legends, myths around the world, and we utilize them in our everyday life. We use them to talk about uncomfortable things, talk about ways we're growing, to reflect on ourselves and reflect on our situations. Today is January 18th. We are in week 3, death and rebirth. We are starting to reawaken. Today, finally, after a lot of darkness that we've gone through, is all about the spark. And the theme is that light returns. We're going to look at 4 stories from Greek, Polynesian, and then we are looking at 2 Native American tribes, but one is specifically the Pacific Northwest, which will be our first one, and the other one is the Plains tribes. So we'll see you after these stories. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Prometheus steals fire. Before humanity knew warmth, before craft or cooked food or light against the night, humans lived close to the animals, trembling when the sun fell. They ate raw roots, hid from winter, and feared the dark not because monsters lived there, but because nothing did. The gods kept fire for themselves. It was a divine force, a living thing. Not merely flame, but knowledge, transformation, and power. Zeus ruled that mortals were not ready for it. Prometheus did not agree. A titan older than the Olympians, Prometheus was known not for strength, but for foresight. He watched humans struggle and saw not weakness, but potential. When Zeus saw chaos, Prometheus saw becoming. He moved among mortals quietly, teaching them numbers, letters, memory. But knowledge without fire could not last. Clay stayed clay. Food stayed poisoned. Night stayed endless. So Prometheus climbed Olympus. He did not steal fire from Zeus directly. That would have been war. Instead, he waited until the gods feasted, until the hearths burned unattended. From Hephaestus' forge, or the sacred flame of Olympus itself, Prometheus took a single ember and hid it in the hollow of a fennel stalk. Small, concealed, enough. He carried it down the mountain. When humans received fire, the world changed immediately. Darkness retreated, food softened, metal bent. Stories gathered around flames and survived the night. Fire became hearth, forge, signal, and prayer. Humanity crossed a threshold and could never return to innocence. Zeus noticed. For the crime of giving light before its time, Prometheus was bound to a rock at the edge of the world. Each day, an eagle came to tear out his liver. Each night, it grew back. Fire was permanent. Punishment was eternal. Prometheus never repented. Fire had been worth the cost. Story 2. Māui captures the flame. In the early days, fire belonged to the gods and the spirits beneath the earth. Humans knew warmth only by chance. Flames were borrowed, fragile things, easily lost to rain or wind. When fire went out, darkness returned quickly, and with it, hunger and cold. People guarded embers like children, afraid to breathe too hard. Māui watched this and laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was wrong. Māui was not a god in the way others were gods. He was a trickster, a boundary breaker, born small and underestimated. He lived between worlds, divine and human, clever and reckless. Where others obeyed the rules of the universe, Māui asked who had written them. One day, Māui extinguished every fire in the villages on purpose. Panic spread. People cried out as night fell. Māui pretended surprise and offered to fix the problem himself. He traveled to the underworld to visit Mahuika, the fire goddess who carried flame in her fingernails. Each nail burned with sacred heat. Mahuika gave Māui one fingernail, warning him not to waste it. Māui wasted it immediately. Again and again he returned, claiming the fire had gone out. Each time, Mahuiki grew angrier, pulling another flaming nail from her hand. With every gift, her power diminished, and Māui learned more. He watched how fire moved, how it lived, how it could be hidden or released. When Mahuiki realized she had been tricked, she tore out her final fingernail and hurled it at Māui in rage. The land caught fire, forests burned, the sky darkened. Māui fled, calling on the gods for rain. The fires were quenched, but not destroyed. Instead, flame hid itself inside certain trees. From that moment on, humans could create fire by friction. Fire no longer had to be guarded. It could be made. Māui did not steal fire outright. He changed where it lived. Fire became knowledge passed down, not a favor begged from the gods. It was still dangerous, still sacred, but now it belonged to the people, and the world was never the same. Story 3. Crow Steals Fire. In the beginning, the world was cold and dim. Light existed, but it was hoarded. Fire was kept by a powerful being who locked it away, guarding it as treasure rather than gift. Humans lived in shadow, eating what they could, surviving rather than living. Night lasted too long. Winter pressed too hard. Crow saw this and became restless. Crow was not the strongest animal, nor the largest. He was clever, curious, and unwilling to accept a world arranged unfairly. He watched how suffering repeated itself and decided repetition was not law, it was habit. Crow learned that fire was hidden inside a great house, guarded carefully. He did not try to break in by force. Instead, he changed himself. Crow became small, then smaller still. In some tellings, he transformed himself into a speck of dust. In others, into a pine needle or grain of ash. He allowed himself to be swallowed by circumstance. Crow entered the house unnoticed. Inside, he watched the fire burn. He memorized its movement, its heat, its hunger. When the moment came, Crow seized a burning coal in his beak and fled into the sky. The guardians pursued him, shouting, throwing stones, calling storms. As Crow flew, the fire burned his feathers, blackened them, scorched him permanently, but he did not drop the flame. As he tired, Crow passed the fire from one animal to another. Each helped carry it farther. Each sacrifice left a mark. Together, they brought fire to the people. When humans received it, they learned warmth, light, and cooking. Stories gathered around flames, communities formed. Darkness no longer ruled the hours of rest. Crow never became clean again. His feathers stayed black, a reminder of the cost of carrying light. But he did not regret it. Fire was never meant to be owned. It was meant to be shared. Story 4. Coyote Steals the Sun. In the early world, light was not shared. The sun was kept hidden away by powerful beings who feared its spread. They believed that light belonged only to those strong enough to guard it. Below, the people lived in half-seeing. The land was dim. Paths were uncertain. Time itself felt stalled. Coyote watched this imbalance and laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. Coyote was not a hero in the noble sense. He was restless, disobedient, curious beyond wisdom. But he understood something others did not. Light that is hoarded turns cruel. A world without enough sun forgets how to grow. Coyote devised a plan not built on strength, but on misdirection. He gathered the animals and spoke in riddles. He distracted the keepers of the sun with games and noise. While their attention scattered, Coyote slipped inside the place where the sun was hidden. It was heavy, too heavy to carry carefully. So Coyote ran. As he fled, the sun rolled across the sky for the first time. Light spilled unevenly. Mountains burned red. Valleys flooded with brightness. Shadows stretched and twisted as the world learned how to hold day. The keepers chased him. They shouted warnings. They hurled curses. But the sun was already loose. Coyote did not place the sun gently. He flung it upward with no ceremony, no apology. It found its path through trial and error. Some places burned. Others froze. Balance came later. The people emerged blinking into daylight. They learned time by shadow. They learned direction. They learned seasons. Life changed shape. Coyote paid a price. His name became associated with chaos, with recklessness, with consequence that rippled beyond intention. But the light remained. Not all gifts arrived cleanly. Not all heroes ask permission. But once light exists, the world can adapt. Hey everybody, welcome back in. Hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. Very similar stories. So, as you can see in our stories today, it is very beginning. We're looking at the spark, fire, knowledge, the different metaphors it was, but it's all came from the help of others. So as we look at those 4 stories today, keeping in mind that January is our month of the archetype of the seeker crossing the veil, the month between worlds. Week 1, the awakening. Week 2, the crossing, now death and rebirth. So it has been a lot of death of the old, shedding of your old self, but also now we're regaining power. So the light returns differently in every culture, but it always returns through risk. Okay? So a titan defies the gods. A demigod outruns the dark. A bird burns his feathers, and a trickster breaks the sky open. Each story teaches the same truth. Hope survives because someone is willing to carry it imperfectly. It was all a trickster, right, or someone that was against the tide, openly against the tide. Like that's their personality. What did you think about that before we dive into the Greek one first?
I just thought it was pretty interesting, and how when I was listening to it, it was almost like re-listening to the same story a couple times, where you hear something and you're like, wait a second, I heard that. And then the next story, then you're like, wait a second, I heard that. And then the Prometheus one, you know, the first one that we listened to, that's the one I've heard the most, obviously, and new. The second one, Māui, honestly, I didn't really know his story until that. And then the last 2, I had never heard those. So it was really cool to listen to them and just hear how close those 2 stories are to where when I listened to it and heard the last story, I was like, that's like got to be the same story. Those two could be so intermingled that the crow could have started it and brought it, and the coyote could have helped. Like those two could have helped each other. So like those two tribes have the same story from just two different perspectives. I think that's awesome.
Right. Prometheus, it represents the mythic moment that humanity receives consciousness. So Prometheus, we know the fire is way more than just fire.
Actual fire,
you know,
yeah.
the fire is knowledge. He stayed there and was teaching them. You know, he was moved among mortals quietly, teaching them numbers, letters, memory. You know, but he realized that knowledge without fire couldn't last. They needed to utilize the elements. And that was the one that they needed the most help with. Prometheus, and he's there that whole time, he never repents.
Right.
He never comes back on his decision. Right. He believes that it was worth it. Because he also gave something that there was no going back either. Right. So it's like he opened the playing field. You know, he leveled it a little bit, opened it up for us as humans, you know, whether you believe in the Anunnaki or angels as being the sons and stuff. He opened the door so that we were all playing on similar fields, and it came from that knowledge and that fire. And it took a little bit of direction. Zeus is furious. Zeus doesn't want to be undermined either. It reminds me of like that family member who inspires you and pushes you to go beyond. You know, whether it is your parent, your uncle, your sibling. Prometheus is the one that sees your potential and helps you, but doesn't get threatened when you surpass him.
Right.
Because we all surpassed him. He's on the cliff, you know?
Yeah.
And it was never, I regret it. Nope.
Right.
He set things in motion. It says that also with that one, this is not just consciousness, but it's technology and rebellion all at once. So we got all three of those. And that fire is never neutral. It is a gift that changes the giver, the receiver, and the world forever. Changes both the giver and the receiver. Because a lot of times I think that we give information and we don't always know what to expect when we give it.
Right.
But sometimes it's very different than what we expected. You learn something out of giving it.
Yeah.
That's how you get to know people too.
Right.
By realizing, for instance, if I told you something and I could see your body language shift, I learned something about you, whatever it may be.
Right.
So it does change.
Whether
too.
you were uncomfortable with what was said or, you know.
And if I know you're uncomfortable and I continue to do it, now you're learning that I enjoy making you feel that way. Like
right.
I'm
If you're,
aware of it.
if you're open to stuff like that, you can really learn so much about people if you allow them to. Like if you want to test without using any words, let someone talk to you and just use your body and see if they stop or keep going. And then just realize that you're using your body and you can manipulate the conversation a lot with just your body movement, I think.
So I wanted to repeat the Maui fire story. And the line that is within that story that's very similar to the coyote's line.
Okay.
So our second and fourth story have a line that is very similar. Let me read you from Maui, the Polynesian one. That one specifically came from Hawaii. Maui watched this and laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was wrong. Story 4. Coyote watched this imbalance and laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd.
I caught that.
Yeah, and so Hawaii all the way to the Plain tribes
Have the same line.
The acknowledgement
Right.
of the trickster going, that's wrong.
Right.
And the coyote is forever acknowledged as that cunning, little sly, untrustworthy animal. Crows are seen as burnt, stained, forever marked. And Maui comes to his end later on. He was kind of arrogant. He was like the arrogant one out of them, I thought.
Yeah.
And he used it to his own selfish.
Yeah, he just
ways.
continued to
Let it loose and then learn the knowledge about it.
Yep.
Where the others, they all sacrificed their identity to give it.
Yeah, they did it with purpose. He did it just because.
And doesn't that kind of make you think of the biblical stuff that we've talked about?
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Like the Prometheus is just, that's what he is. Is someone that went against what he was supposed to do.
Right.
And then had to suffer for all eternity.
Yeah.
But he did it. You know, the crow allowed itself to be burnt. Because it was seeing the wrongs that were happening. You see that Maui, where knowledge becomes permanent, but your responsibility follows. So I think that's what's hard about Maui, was that he wasn't responsible at the time of that.
Right.
Legend. So the crow being in the Pacific Northwest, that's where the crow is at. And then the coyote is over in the plains, so the Dakotas. Which one did you relate to more? Did you think, I could see that?
I just like both. I liked all the stories, just kind of how they were told, you know. It's kind of cool. Like, when you see an injustice, and no matter who you are, it almost sets up like all the superhero movies that we all love, like the what do they call them, not the villain, but what the heck are they?
Anti-heroes?
Yeah, whatever.
The ones that are
like Batman and everything, but they're
Deadpool, Wolverine, like the ones that are willing to cross that line.
Yeah. For
the sake of the
right.
And
for goal. What is right, not,
you know, the people that you could see both sides from.
Right.
Heroes are a little bit different than we might expect them to be.
Right.
And I wonder if the laughter was almost, I'm going to go down for this.
Yeah. Like, bring it on. All right, this is, it's like this is too much.
Yeah, let's level the playing fields.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to change your game.
Yep.
I see what's happening, and I liked that after reading the crow one, like I immediately thought of other animals that were marked like that. So now, like, I love how much the cultures identify the colors of the animals.
Right.
Like the spirit bear being white. You know, they were way more rare than the other bears that they were seeing in those areas and stuff, and to know its power and stuff, there's also a reason that the crow is black.
You know, we are the only creature that sees them as black, though, because the way our eyes are. Crows, like, they've got some camera, I heard about it not too long ago, where they were taking pictures of them. Crows are actually, like, rainbow colored. They're, like, multicolored, some crazy color.
Crows we or see ravens or both?
Yeah, it might be both, but I know for sure it was a crow. So
and maybe we do glimpse that a little bit in like certain lights, certain reflections. You do see that rainbow glare come off
they're
of
actually
them.
not black. They're a crazy rainbow color, and that's just how we see them. But yeah, so it's pretty neat. How
I like that.
With that story though, like they were a rainbow colored bird. Right, but then the story burns
them.
They mark them. For us, we see a black bird.
The times that we see the rainbow, it's because of the sun.
Yeah.
So is that the sun giving a little wink back?
Right.
To the crow?
Yeah.
Like your beauty's still seen because, you know, I'll give you this too. You know how the crow shows that it came through cooperation too. So many of the Native American stories that we see, they are all about community and cooperation.
Right.
You know, there are a few where you do have to take your journey on your own. You do have to step into roles on your own to help the community, though.
Right.
And it is all about cooperation. And it is that sense of if one falls, we all kind of have to pick up the slack a little bit.
Right. And that's the thing, though. Community used to be so different. Like, I've watched some shows where I forget which tribe they were talking about or civilization, but they were talking about how there was one central hub for the family, right? One main area. And then when the family would expand, they would just build off of this main area. So, like, some families' homes would just get huge, like, within this area, and they would just build new rooms, new parts of the city, and that's how their cities would grow.
Yeah, like they're
just
complexes.
Families. Yeah, it was just all families, and it was very connected, and everybody worked for everybody. And that's, when I guess we were more free to just like, hey, yeah, you got to go out and work, but it's not the same,
Right. It was kind of like that. I don't know why I just thought of it, but that Chris Hemsworth episode where he was fasting, and then to end the fast, he had to catch his own food.
I love that.
And it added that perspective of, were they really eating every day?
I don't think so.
If it was scarce, like, yeah, maybe you're eating berries and nuts, like things on, like gathering things, but you aren't eating meals.
No.
Every day. I really don't believe that they were. And that's why it was so much more meaningful.
Our bodies are actually meant to really do that anyways. If you truly break down and look at our bodies, I don't think they're meant to eat definitely not as much as we do.
But like, if you think about it, you had chickens or birds or whatever. So you're eating those, eggs, you're eating berries, all this stuff. So you're eating those items and you're not having huge meals.
Yeah, you're just eating small little portions, Like, you're having a bite of something now, and then a couple hours.
Bread was probably big,
yeah,
too.
and the thing is you feel like we feel hungry, and it's
hungry
silly.
because of convenience.
Right, but also a lot of times, one thing I've found through research is we're thirsty.
That's
our
right.
bodies, the receptors in our body that tell us we're thirsty and hungry are the same one. So most Americans are walking around dehydrated. And then if you look at a lot of these dehydrated people, a lot of them are carrying extra weight.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that a major
sodas
thing?
And all that, which those dehydrate you even more and cause you to have more of the sugars and all that stuff. And it's just this big snowball effect. It's unfortunate.
I wanted to come back to the crow one. Fire changes the carrier. We heard that through the other stories. Wisdom leaves its marks. But something specifically with that one is that the community benefits, but the bearer remembers the burn.
Right.
So I think that there is also that sense of sometimes the community will benefit through your struggle.
Yep.
And unfortunately, all we can do is move on.
Yep. Yeah, like, sorry, but...
And everyone in the community is, though, contributing to that. What about the people that are always the crow? Always the coyote?
That's
always
your
the
purpose.
Prometheus? What about those people that just go down as the tricksters, marked?
That's your
Is
purpose.
it worth it?
I mean, if that's your
do you-
purpose, yeah.
I mean, Prometheus said it was worth it.
If you truly believe your purpose is, at the end of the day, what you're dying for, yeah. Better make it worth it to yourself.
Right. Speaking of the crows, I love that that's an animal too, because I've told you the story of when they go collect food for the other ones that can't, the injured, the elderly, the babies, whatever. It's a very social animal. And if you go out and you're eating and stuffing your face first before, alerting, they usually, I believe it's crows, they isolate you.
Isn't that so cool?
So they push you away, they chase you off when there's food and stuff because you were selfish to the community.
Because it's that whole survival of the fittest, right? But
The weakest link.
weakest link is, you're strong, or whatever, your community is only as strong as your weakest link.
Wish humans were like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure
It
we used to be,
seems-
but I think we've lost that through convenience.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. If things weren't as convenient, we wouldn't be as willing to help the next person if they chose to continuously act the way they are, like right now, not even trying.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you're not going to get my help anymore.
Too,
Well, the thing is what are we truly doing by helping some people out to the extent where they don't ever try? We are just as bad, and we are crippling them by not even making them try.
advocating for that behavior.
I'm sorry, you know what? Stand up for yourself. I'm sick of pulling you up. Now my back hurts, and now I can't help somebody else because you just keep falling down on purpose because you don't want to stand up yourself. You unfortunately have to stop. And I believe if we brought that back, a lot of people would suffer, but a lot of people would flourish, and they would be like, holy cow, I wish I would have figured this out a long time ago.
Goes back to actions above words.
Mm-hmm.
When you had to prove your worth through actions,
Right.
your merit through actions. When people would stand there and say, prove it,
Mm-hmm.
like do it in front of me. We don't do that anymore.
Right.
And it adds that sense of, is it because we know it's wrong? Because if it's not wrong, why can't we let everyone know?
Right.
And then thinking of like bigger picture things because of mass panic. But look at what happened when fire was given.
Mm-hmm.
Trial and error. You're going to
Yep.
figure it out. But at least they had the opportunity.
That's
We
the biggest
have
thing.
a lot of opportunities not given to us.
Yep.
Stripped from us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are not capable of handling it based on
Somebody's thought.
analytics.
Yeah.
It's based on the same analytics that get videos viewed, videos like shut down. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's all a computer generation of maybe.
But just, I love movies like that too. Go back to V for Vendetta, where you have to give the people the chance.
Right.
People should not be afraid of their government. They should not distrust their government. We, the people, forgot that it was our duty to take a stand
Yeah.
when your government was misusing.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that I found out recently about stuff with that where I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know.
The coyote. We too often make big deals out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's great to celebrate the little wins, but we have a photo shoot every time someone in our family does something kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you passed 6th grade. Okay, we're going to have a big photo shoot
Yeah.
to cheer you on and stuff. And it's like, we do that with everything that it kind of loses its worth.
Yeah.
And so I
see
liked
what you
in
mean.
this story that something as major as the sun coming out, the coyote knew the urgency, knew that it wasn't the time to sit there and glorify what it had done,
Right.
and threw it up. It wasn't
Yep.
gentle. It arrived and he just said, here it is, world. Take it or leave it, but it's not coming with the pretty bow on it.
Yeah. I really like that too.
Yeah, I like that, especially in a world where you feel like if you don't celebrate every single thing that happens, you don't love your family as much.
Right? It's
Like, it's a
almost like you're
competition.
ashamed.
Yeah.
Like, who's better at posting all their stuff online because now I'm more happy? You know, that was statistically shown to cause more depression.
Yeah, and actually
Because people
showed
think
that the
they
people
have
that
to.
do post the most,
Are usually more depressed.
yeah,
And they're just
unhappy with
doing
their
it.
reality.
Yeah, they're doing it to.
Or they kind of rewrite their reality.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
validate
look
it.
at how happy we are. And then all of a sudden they're not together
And I
anymore.
love that for people that do, because there are circles, there are people that's what social media is.
Yeah.
But then I see other people that I thought may have believed that before that are now posting videos where they're like, I'm kind of questioning whether I want my kids on social media at all.
Right.
Like, they're like, I don't want pictures up there. And then other parents will get upset. And I had this discussion with someone before where they took a picture of their kid and someone else's kid was in it. One of the parents asked them to take it down. No, I don't want my kid posted and stuff. And they didn't understand.
Right.
Because they are all about, well, I was just saying how amazing they are. And that's what their intent was, to, glorify them, because,
Right.
oh, look at them. Yeah, but I don't want my kid to think that that matters at all.
Exactly.
And so it is hard to think, wow, I didn't think of it as a negative, because my intention is purely positive support. But the other side is no, because that's not real positivity. That's not real support.
Exactly.
And I think,
I like that viewpoint.
and I hope that, I mean, I was never a big social media person.
I was for a while.
I would struggle to get into certain ones. I did like some more than others, but I found that they were so toxic, and I enjoyed them because you were allowed to be. Like
See, I
Twitter.
didn't see it that side of it, you know.
Yeah, and I just saw the competitive
in it.
nature of like women and how you were always trying to be popular, and it
Well,
was validation.
You missed out on the MySpace, really.
Yeah.
The big that, like, oh, you're not in my top 10 anymore or whatever, and it was like, that was the goofiest thing. It was like, what the?
I remember when Snapchat showed you who other people's friends were.
I
their
don't
top
even.
three.
I missed all that. Like,
Oh, that was when I was in high
craze.
school, and they all of a sudden made it so you could see other people's top threes. So you're coming to school like, why are you talking to three other women?
Yeah.
But
Like,
it put all of these
busted.
people on blast. Like, they changed their names. It made people sneakier.
Yeah, I bet.
And
I
then
bet.
they
taught
took it
people.
away because it caused so many problems, so they took that away.
Yeah.
But
I bet.
the coyote, anyways, throwing it into the sun, that order comes after illumination, not before, and that transformation can be disruptive. It oftentimes is, and it's not oftentimes things that you get a chance to glorify, or that you even want to glorify. And now everyone, I feel like, kind of does that too, though. They look back on their memories, and I'm grown from where I used to be. Everyone has.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
But everyone has. Like, you do grow. It might just be the way you physically look, but you are changing.
Yeah.
And we're so focused on, oh, I'm different than I used to be. Yeah, but are you where you could be?
Right.
Because it's like, oh, I was this. Yeah, but even then you weren't where you could be. I think we're still focusing on the wrong things. Glorifying
The little things instead of what should be.
and
Really?
ignoring the things within us that we're like, oh, yeah, I know I haven't changed that. Because I'm still posting and asking people to see me and to value me. But the true growth is not doing that at all, I think.
Right.
Is to be that action out in public.
Yep.
I think that's what all four of these things were. They didn't share their plan with anyone. There were people that along the way helped, but they did what they did at the cost, and none of them were glorified.
Right.
Not a single one of them were held to a high esteem after doing that.
And it helped so many, but they were always just known as that trickster, like you said.
Think about the reflection question of what still burns inside me. So what is still burning inside of me? And we're not talking about burning inside you like it angers you. What
Like a desire or a...
what refuses to go out, even at the cost of being lit inside you? What burns within you, what burns inside me, that no one can take away, no one can dim? You know, it may sometimes get a little bit weaker, but something that burns within you, like the animals who thought it was wrong.
Right.
Maui and Prometheus, who knew the cost. But that sense of justice, that sense of progress, that sense of potential. I love Prometheus because he is the epitome of something I aspire to be. And I don't know how to necessarily word it or say it, but he sees the potential. He sees all the obstacles around it. He is not like any of these. He's not the strongest. He's not the wisest. And he still just opens the door for them at the cost of himself. He opens the door for the limitless potential that can come forward. Because he saw it and didn't get afraid of it. Where Zeus was afraid of it.
Yeah.
100%. That's why they kept it contained. Because we can go ahead and say, I didn't let you see your potential because I was scared you were going to do harm. But it's the same as the other night. What if I'm wrong? What if you're not?
What if you're not? Yeah.
What if I fail? But what if you don't? What if I learn all of this stuff and we create a world that comes to an end? Yeah, but what if someone saves it? That's just a beautiful idea that with every darkness that comes, the world has to counterbalance it.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to have that.
As much as we as stubborn humans will try to make it worse, there will always be something trying to make it better, or vice versa. Sure. You see how dark we are as humans, you know, how much destruction we cause. But when you see like places get destroyed by natural disasters, the earth has attacked itself.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you see, I don't remember where it was, like the Carolinas, I believe. I could be totally wrong. But this group of Amish people.
Yeah.
That came over and did all that work.
Yep.
And just helped. And it wasn't like, oh, the Amish versus anyone else coming. It was people came.
Yeah, they needed
people
help.
People came from regardless of the ways of living. And they showed up. And I like that that's the potential that was seen. Was, yeah, there's a lot of ugly stuff. There's sin. There's darkness. But where there is darkness, there's also good. There are also people that refuse to bend. Yeah. There are people who see the injustice and will say, here is everything. Burn me for the sake of everyone else moving forward.
Yep.
And it's the hardest and the scariest thing is that we have to make sure that those people aren't written out of their history. I feel like a lot of people have been written out of history.
Oh, for sure.
That have brought us forward. There have been a lot of Prometheuses. A lot of crows that were burned or marked. And that's all we see them as anymore.
Yep. Unfortunately for them.
I mean, I just wonder how many people you and I pass on a daily basis or when we go out of town that something that they have done has, you know, influenced
Forever.
us.
Yeah.
We would never know, you know?
True.
What if they created something that we use every single day and we had no idea? They had an idea.
Yeah.
We don't truly know unless, I mean, it's the ones that we glorify. What about the ones that are burned, marked? The ones that risked it all for us. And one major one that I think of right away in history was Alan Turing. The guy that broke the Enigma machine or the German machine during World War II.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He kind of got erased into history too, risked it. He didn't have to come out, you know, he could have stayed by himself because of all of his stuff going on.
Yeah.
But he risked himself being seen and opened up and ultimately was one of the major reasons that the war came to an end, you know, but he got burned. because of something insignificant, that was more important than the action. But regardless, that action was done. So we can say whatever we want about some of these people, these animals, but we wouldn't be there without their sacrifice.
Right.
So what you're going to do today is you're going to light a candle to acknowledge the part of you that refuses to go dark. So maybe we talk later and we think about what does burn inside us. When everything else is dark, what is our spark? So maybe we look at that as our reflection. And that's just, even when it costs you your peace of mind, your sleep, because it's often your sleep that is sacrificed when you're really passionate about something.
Yeah.
That spark. So we're going to talk about that today. Because I think that it's important that you and I do acknowledge what is our spark.
Right.
And then we're going to light that candle or flame to acknowledge the parts of you that don't want to go dark. It is really dark outside in these winter months. So I suggest you go outside and embrace it in the cold, And then we are going to apply that into our daily lives, that just hope does not arrive untouched. It arrives carried. So something comes with that hope. The crow, the coyote, the tricksters, they come. So that was our episode today, though, for the spark. So we are rising out of the void, rising out of our surrender. And now, when everything else is dark and everything is broken and we were in that darkness, there was something still burning. What was it? So that's what we're going to think about today. And if you guys have any answers, we'd love to hear them. What burns inside you, regardless of the cost? Thank you for walking this journey with me today. These stories are more than folklore. They are the heartbeat of our world building, the inspiration behind our characters, and the soul of the Legends Reborn Chronicles. By exploring these tales, we honor the past, ignite the present, and breathe life into the legends we're creating together. To see more of Mark and I, as well as additional scenes, discussions, and healing, check the links below that will lead you to our various social media platforms. Please also feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments in the episode below or in future episodes to come. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, may your path be guided by wonder, curiosity, and the magic of the stories that came before us. Blessings, and I'll see you on our next folklore journey.